Welcome to Unchained Energy, push beyond your belief. Unchained Energy is a supplement store supplying Australia-wide, so go check us out in the link below. This video is going to cover either how to get skinny or how to put on weight, but effectively it's all about controlling your intake and how to control your weight and physique. The first major step is creating a meal plan that you can stick to. Working with either a trainer or a dietitian, or even making it yourself, but creating a meal plan that you enjoy and you can stick to, and you understand the timings of when to eat in a general rule of thumb, will really help on your way to taking in the right nutrients and getting the right macros into your body. Number 2 is exercise. So cardio and resistance, creating that mind-muscle connection so that you can feel your muscles working, you can feel your lungs opening up, being able to take in air and run it through your body. On both levels of fitness, it doesn't have to be extreme, just get going. We're going to talk about the phases of fitness shortly, or at least my experience with them. Number 3 is the right amount of water and the right water. So I've got an article in the description below about how to increase the power of your water, increase the water intake and what it can do for your body. So it's a bit more about that in another video and another blog post. 4th is get plenty of sleep. We'll go into it a little bit more further on, but getting the right amount of sleep will help you eat better, it'll give you more energy, and it'll basically increase your mentality around things as well. So when you're tired, you generally tend to underperform. Getting plenty of sleep will help you to achieve your goals, not just physically, but also mentally. One tip I do have is before you get started, or even if you've already started, take some photos and measurements and keep them on record so you know where you've started. And that way in 2 weeks, a couple of months, even in a year or two, you can check how you've gone, you can measure yourself against where you started. And that way, when you start seeing results and you have better measurements, that kind of thing, you can really start to appreciate where you've come from and what you've achieved, and that can help you keep pushing. If you're actually getting results, it's going to drive you to keep going. My experience with eating control, there was a time when I'd eat a lot of fatty foods. I'd eat breakfast out, I'd eat lunch out, dinner out, always eating out. But building a plan that suits you and understanding the timing of the food and also the triggers that make you want to go and eat the foods that you perhaps shouldn't. So that's really going to help identify what the issues are, and then being able to stick to a meal plan. So for example, for myself, if I leave eating for too long, so maybe 4 or 5 hours, I've noticed that I've got a trigger where I want to go and eat something that I shouldn't. I don't just go to the fridge and get my meal prep. I actually go and buy something that's generally not as healthy as what I've already got. So leaving that timing too long and you start to feel hungry, your brain starts to tell you go and eat something that's going to give you a quick fix. Not getting to that point, that's a trigger for me, and perhaps it is for you too. So understanding your triggers will help you to mitigate those risks of going and eating the wrong things. So building a plan around your lifestyle, the timing of the food, and making it easy as well is something that's really helpful for myself. If it's too difficult or there's too many ingredients and it's too much effort, too much cleanup even, that's when I start to falter. So I keep it really simple, keep it really easy, and I make sure the timing is consistent. Much easier to stick to. The next thing is when I start to get hungry at night, I've had all my meal plan, I've stuck to it all day, and then if I stay awake a little bit too long, I start to feel hungry. I want to then go and eat foods that I shouldn't, or I want to snack more. So what I do is I go to sleep and I just wait till the next day, start again. So when I'm sleeping, I'm obviously not thinking about the food that I could be eating. So going to bed once I start to feel hungry or before I feel hungry is a really good way to mitigate eating more than I should. There's actually research around getting enough sleep and wanting to eat more. Sleep and food are linked in that regard. One more thing that helps me is drinking plenty of water. It fills your stomach. It kind of helps with not wanting to eat or not feeling so hungry because your stomach's got something in there to process. The other thing to drink is also caffeine. It helps reduce you feeling hungry. So you're less likely to go and eat as much if you've had a coffee. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's some phases around getting fit, or at least the phases that I experienced, and you might too. Let us know in the comments of the phases that you encountered as you were on your journey from the very beginning all the way through to hitting your goals. So phase 1 for me was the unknown. So not knowing if these changes I was going to make were going to work, what I was actually going to feel, and whether it was worthwhile putting this extra effort in to try and hit these goals. Was it even going to work? That phase for me kind of lasted about a week and a bit. And then by the second week, I started to feel the results. So phase 2 was feeling better, feeling more energized, feeling like it is working, but you're not necessarily seeing the results just yet. Phase 3 is seeing the results. So whether it's yourself, sometimes you may not see the results yourself, but sometimes it's other people. They might take notice, like, oh, if you've been working out, you're looking a lot healthier, you're looking more energized. You might have better colors and that sort of thing in your skin and eyes and hair and that sort of thing. People will start to see the results, and perhaps you might even see them too. Don't get disheartened though, because when you see yourself in the mirror every day, you may not notice those changes as easily as somebody that hasn't seen you for a week or two. Then comes a bigger shift. So other people are noticing, you're feeling better, and then you'll hit a point where you're sort of really feeling quite fit and healthy, and you're really feeling the benefits of what you're doing. That's when you start to get hooked, and you want to just keep doing it. You want to keep aiming for more goals, and you're feeling better about yourself. For me, after I hit a big shift, there was a bit of a plateau. So I was still pushing just as hard, but then the measurements weren't changing, the weight wasn't changing, the physique wasn't changing too much. So there's a bit of a plateau. And I thought, is this it? Have I hit as far as I'm sort of going with what I'm doing? And I think it's just part of the process is, you build up, you recover, and it takes time to sort of recover properly. And then you hit the acceleration again, you keep going. So the plateau is a bit of a scary point. It's a little bit disheartening at the time, but then once you hit that next level, you can then accelerate again. It's not permanent. Finally, I just want to touch on your reason. So what's your reason for wanting to get fit, or wanting to get skinny or bigger, or whatever the goal is? Obviously, when you're fit and healthy, you feel better. It helps with mental health. It helps with looking after yourself, and you just generally feel better about things. Things start coming to you a little bit easier. You also feel a lot better about your day. If you've looked after yourself, you've at least ticked one thing off on the goal book for the day. When you're pushing, it's not just about those goals. Sometimes you've got other goals, like you want to get fit for summer. Your goal might have something to do with career or relationships, or just simply looking better for a certain time. You might have an event coming up where you want to look really good for. When you're at gym, or when you're doing your cardio workout, and when you're eating your meal plans, it's important to remind yourself of that goal, because once you get there, once you are at that time, for example, if you've got an event, it's too late. So the work has to be put in now, and reminding yourself of that goal is really important, because you can't fix it later, you can't change it later. It's the same with your health. If something happens, better off looking after yourself now, putting in the right steps, and mitigating a lot of the risks that are involved with poor health. But the same goes for hitting those goals later on. So reminding yourself while you're pushing, while you're working, while you're doing the right things by your body and your mind, it's important to remind yourself why. If you've got a goal, remember that you can't change it once you're there. You've got to do the work right now. That's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit me up in the comments below. Remember to go to unchannedenergy.com.au and purchase your protein, your creatine, your pre-workout. It's all delivered across Australia. Jump on there, get your products, and your support really means a lot to me. So thanks for watching, and enjoy your week.